So thanks for being here. I also want to just give a quick word of thanks to the GSV team that really quickly organized a terrific conference. We've had great exhibitors, great sessions here, and terrific breakouts. So thanks for being here, and thanks for the folks that put this on. Sabba.
Well, we are here today because if you are reading the news, one of the things that you have likely heard is that 46% of students feel threatened by artificial intelligence, and 52% of students are really questioning how ready they are for the world they're about to walk into.
Sabba, I think one reason that students have felt that way is that we've gone through this 1.5 year period of time where new capabilities have rolled out about every 6 months. It's really been extraordinary to watch how this has happened. And for me, it's sort of, it eats into the future aspirations that young people have when they see a capability coming out that might replace an aspiration like being a software engineer.
I mean, exactly. If you're somebody who's like, well, I want to be a software engineer, this is what it looks like.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use.
It's a whole new meaning for being a software engineer, right?
I mean, I was told I should grow up learning how to code.
Now there's a potential to be the 5x, maybe the 10x coder, right? But it's a whole new world.
So maybe I should be a cinematographer.
But?
This is Sora from OpenAI, generating video using text.
Yeah, we've seen lots of really interesting text-to-video apps that have come out in the last year that sort of rethinking how we generate not just images, but video.
Absolutely. Well, maybe if not a software engineer or a cinematographer, maybe I'll be an architect and build something from scratch.
I wanted to be an architect when I grew up, and I just saw this picture last week. It's from my friend Randy Fielding, who started a company called classroomrenewal.ai, and he can take text to renderings instantly. You can reimagine your classroom in seconds based on prompts. So rethinking the way we think about being an architect and a designer.
If all these careers are taken, let me just go with one that's really popular right now. Maybe I'll be Taylor Swift. What do you think of that?
Even that's being automated, right? There's text to music now. We saw some cool examples of this yesterday.
Well, it looks like it's writing a song about an enthusiastic group of educators who are optimistic and cautious about the future, and they're coming together for a conference. I don't think
we're the dreamers, the believers.
It's crazy. That was like in 5 seconds.
In just a couple of seconds, text to text, text to image, text to video, and now text to audio.
Building bridges where there were separators. Step by step, we'll break the
Okay, let's get rid of all of those. What if I was to think about becoming a lawyer?
Well, there's some things AI couldn't be a debater, right? We found out a couple weeks ago that there was an RCT in France, published just 3 weeks ago, that demonstrated that large language models out-debate humans 87% of the time. So it's going to be different to be a lawyer. You may be in classroom, you may be in a courtroom competing against an LLM.
Well, what about for all the people who are here? Maybe I'll grow up to be just like them because they're here learning about AI, and maybe I'll just become a teacher.
You don't think that'll be automated?
Love when I'm up against a human. The latest research says that our GPT-4 superpower gives us an 87% higher chance of changing someone's mind compared to a human. We'll win that jury over in no time.
Well, if I wanted to be a teacher, I don't think AI could replace me because we have seen so many different AI applications. I know it can do lesson plans, but as a teacher myself, I know I do so much more than what AI generates.
We saw in the exhibition hall lots of ways that AI can support teachers, but I don't think anybody out there was talking about replacing teachers.
Absolutely
right?
not. Absolutely not.
What are the things that are going to make teachers irreplaceable? What skills are going to be more important than ever?
We're going to ask you guys to go ahead and share with us what you believe makes educators irreplaceable. What makes you irreplaceable in an AI world? If you go to slido.com and put in the code that is listed below, we would love to hear what you believe makes educators irreplaceable. What do you think, Tom? What would you say while they're filling in some responses?
I think creating relationships with students and sustaining those over time is more important than ever, and something that we're not going to replace anytime soon.
And that looks like what the audience is agreeing with as well. Empathy, love.
Relationships, empathy, culturally responsive. I love that. Emotional support and motivation. Connections.
And I love this because these are actually so many of the elements that go into what makes a great relationship. Empathy for people, love, emotional support, inspiration, motivation. You're a huge inspiration of mine. The number of stories you document and the work you do.
That's a really good list.
That's a great list. But so we know that just the same way for educators, we're not replaceable, neither are any of these other professions. And so communicating that to our students and showing them what it is they bring to the table is truly what we believe makes educators irreplaceable. We are the ones who are here to shape the future. And so we want to tell you what that means. We shape the future in a few different ways. Number one, first and foremost, as many of you just shared in that poll, we are the ones who spark that little thing within them, which is their interest, that is their passion, that is their skill set. And we teach them, this is something that you have inside of you, and this is who you can become. There are so many people who talk about, have you ever had that one teacher? I have too.
Yeah, I just thought about her and the way she sparked my writing. She was the first one that made me think of myself as a writer. The first teacher that made me think of myself as an engineer. You know, another part of Spark, I think, is opportunity recognition. It's helping students see a problem or find a problem worth solving.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be an important skill, maybe more important than ever.
Absolutely. And all it takes is one person to be able to do that within you.
So the H stands for highlight. As we all begin to use LLMs to create more, to code, to produce video, what we're going to spend a lot more time on and teach kids a lot more is to highlight, to curate, to edit content that we've co-created. So this idea of highlighting, curating, editing is going to be more important than ever.
Absolutely. But in the midst of doing all of that important work, one of the things, anytime I walk into a meeting and I ask people about their schools and the things they're doing, there are 1,000 buzzwords that are thrown at me. We do UDL, we have ELL students, we do SEL, all these different buzzwords. And one of the things that's really important that we do is we help align. We take all the buzzwords and all the acronyms that are out there that are thrown at us, and we create a shared language of learning that is truly built on the relationships that we have with our students.
I think alignment's also about aligning values, right? It's creating values alignment, naming and building community around an aligned set of values. Another really distinctive human trait that's going to be more important than ever is perseverance. It's going to be courage to do the right thing, courage to speak your ethics, to align with a set of values in a community. LLMs aren't going to do that. And by the way we persevere and teach young people to persevere, I think is going to be more important than ever.
I see many friends in the audience who we have persevered with for so long. And so truly, none of this is possible without being able to engage with a larger community, whether those people are online or offline. And for so long, after we have left conferences just like this, we have had to go back and implement things by ourselves for the most part. And one really big differentiator that we hope many of you are taking home today is that there's so much work that we no longer have to do alone. Because when we make AI tools members of our team, we get to finally delegate some of that work to them.
Sabba, I think particularly post-pandemic, teaching is now, it's clear that it's a team sport. We have to do this together. And what's new for many of us this year is that part of that team is AI. A is a new team member that can be a super contributor to a team. We want to talk, in the last half, we want to share some thoughts about teacher leaders and why it's so important for us to lead. Sabba and I think we're living through a period in human history and educational history when we can't sit this out. As teacher leaders, we have to lead in our community. And so we're going to close out with the LEAD acronym. And that starts with?
That starts with L. And one of the most important things, which is really we want to acknowledge how incredible it is that so many of you are here today, because while it can feel like this hall is packed, this conference is packed with so many people, the reality is that many of us go back to our organizations and we are usually the one or two people who understand even what the obstacles are with AI, but also what the opportunities are with AI, so that we can finally shut the door on that cheating debate.
Yeah. This one's so important. This one's personal for me because Sabba and I have been presenting together for 6 months. And when we started this, she really publicly humiliated me for not regularly using LLMs in my own leadership. So I want to
He wasn't paying for ChatGPT 4. How many of you pay for ChatGPT 4? How many people are? See?
I'm actually using Gemini instead.
Gemini, all right. And you know, I think that's a really important thing because so many times we feel like there needs to be a tool or one tool.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things about identifying those obstacles and opportunities, we hire differently.
Yeah.
We hire for different needs. And so we really want people to see these AI tools as members that you hire as part of your team, and we all have different needs with different people we're going to go out and hire.
Anyway, Sabba, I do appreciate your sparking my leadership in being a learning leader, in using LLMs in my own work, and we'd really encourage you as leaders in an ed community to learn out loud with LLMs. Secondly, an important way to lead is to engage your community in a conversation. It's a super important time for every ed leader to be a conversation host, to bring your community together and to talk about what is happening and how that's changing the nature of work, how it's changing citizenship, and what that means for our young people. It's super important for you to lead visibly in your community and to give them lots of opportunities, virtual opportunities, physical opportunities, to engage in a dialogue about what's happening and what it means, and then to be party to a new set of agreements.
This one's so important to us. It actually engage appears twice in our set of acronyms. But one of the things that I think we're so passionate about, and like I said, I really admire how Getting Smart really shares so many stories, because at the end of the day, as educators, we are advocates not only for our students and ourselves, but for our profession. You know, the research of Eric Honishek shows that changing education isn't just about teaching and learning, it's really an economic imperative. Yeah. Educators, his research shared, are wealth creators because of the students we prepare.
I want to add to this one. What I think is most important for community leaders and for ed leaders is to advocate a sense of possibility. We're entering this new period in history where young people that are in high school and college right now have more opportunity to add value, to deliver value to their community, to take on real work using smart tools and deliver to make their community better now, not preparing to do it in the future, but to do it now. And so I hope you advocate for that sense of possibility, because we can create schools now that are alive with a sense of possibility.
And there really is no other profession, unless somebody has one, that touches the lives of every single person in the next generation.
Right. The last thing in leadership is to design experiences that promote AI literacy. It's time right now. Even if you're in a school, you may only have a month or two left in school. I'd love you to think about ways that you can sprint to AI literacy so that every student leaves this year literate in what's happening in the world of AI and being a confident user, if they're of age, but that they're also digitally literate at school and at home and as a budding citizen. So think about how you can help your community, your kids, your parents, become AI literate in the next 60 or 90 days.
Absolutely. Now it's time for my embarrassing moment, because while you might, see even the presenters here or people on stage and think like, well, they know everything about AI, they know all these things. When we go home, we're crying and we're complaining about how hard things are. And so one day when I was doing that to my sister, oh my God, I have this coming, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and I'm complaining away, my 4-year-old nephew is listening to me in the background, and here's what unfolded.
I don't know if I can do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it properly.
You can do hard things.
I can do hard things?
Yeah, you can.
Who told you that?
My teacher.
Your teacher?
There are so many things as educators that we do each and every single day that to us are just, hey, you can do hard things, buddy. Hey, great job over there. Oh my God, I love how you guys did this. And we have no idea the impact that that has, that my 4-year-old nephew heard his teacher say that to him, heard me complaining, and came up and gave me that same advice. And this is why we believe that educators truly are the ones who are going to shape and lead the future.
We'd love to close just by inviting you to think about a commitment that you can take from this place. What would you like to do this week, this month, this year that will help make the world a better place?
One thing, just one thing you can commit to today. We would love a list to kind of see what people here are going to take back with them to their communities. One thing you might try.
I'll give you one quick example. My favorite session here at this conference was a session that Sabba and Nate McLennan did on project-based learning. And they showed about a half a dozen examples of schools that are inviting students to use LLMs to help shape community-changing, community-improving projects. I'd love it if you'd commit to giving that a try, to inviting students to design projects that make their community a better place.
Can AI tools help with that?
There's a lot of them. We talked about Project Leo and
Inquire. Inquire was my big takeaway.
They're right over there.
I'm really skeptical about AI tools, but Inquire was.
Go check them out. We got really good examples. Help my daughter with college prep. Oh, somebody's going to do a client-connected project.
Someone's just going to do everything you said.
I love that. I love that using it with my daughter.
I love that.
I'm a grandparent, and so I'm thinking a lot. That helped me think about a commitment I can make as a grandparent of introducing smart tools at home.
That's a really important one when I think about advocacy. Every single person here, I challenge you to go to your next dinner party, lunch party, out with your friends and ask them, hey, have you tried ChatGPT? Because till this day, when I go and I ask that question, most of my friends have no clue what's going on. So we're not just advocates in the classroom, we are truly advocates for the world right now.
Sabba, there's one, they say, I want to advance AI in more organization. What's the next step if somebody wants to go back to work tomorrow and skill up their organization? What can they do?
I feel like it's sharing one example. Because when you're in your organization, whatever problem or challenge you're experiencing is likely the same challenge everyone is experiencing in your role. And by sharing, hey, I had this problem, I tried this, and opening the conversation makes people feel safe.
Maybe they could go to designingschools.org and take a class from Sabba.
Absolutely, right? We would love you there.
Or check out gettingsmart.com if you want to learn more about upskilling your school with AI.
And lots of stories about how, it's one of the things that I love the most about Getting Started. You have like the best library of stories. Are you going to create a GPT?
Yes. Hey, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
We hope that you shape and lead with AI. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Sabba.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, guys.